So for round 8 we're taking our grey yarn and joining with a standing treble. So pinch the yarn, wrap around 3 times, and we can join to any corner stitch, which would be the second DC of the 3 DC that's put into every corner. Okay, so it's a bit hard to tell in this black yarn, but your 3 corner stitches are, that's your first one that sits to the right. So the stitch goes into there and the top of the stitch is sitting to the right here. The next one is your second one, which is the one we're working into, and the next one is your third one, which sits there. Okay, so we're going into that middle stitch. So pull through 2, because it's a standing treble. Now we're going to put another treble into that same stitch. And then we can get rid of that. Now we're going to chain 2 and put another treble into that corner stitch. So this is what your corners are going to look like. So it's 2 trebles, 2 chains, 1 treble. Okay? So now we're going to put a treble into each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. And now we're going to put a front post double treble around the next front post treble from round 6. So round 6 is this cream one here, and the next front post treble is this one here. So we're going to put a double front post treble around it, wrap around twice, insert your hook from right to left around the back of that post. Okay. So now we're going to miss the next stitch. So that stitch there is going into here. So that's a worked stitch. That's the next one that we're going to miss. And then we're going to put a treble into the next stitch. Okay, so you can tilt it forward and look that we've missed a full stitch there. And now we're going to put another front post double treble around the last front post treble, around the same one that we just worked. Okay, now we're going to miss the next stitch. So pull it forward again. You can see that that stitch there is going into here. So we're missing that one and working into this one here. We're going to put a treble into there. And now we need to put another, we need to do 7 trebles in total, and we've just done 1. So 1 into each stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll just make sure we've missed a stitch there and missed a stitch there. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to do another front post double treble around the next front post treble from round 6. So insert in your hook like so. And now same again, we're missing the next stitch. So we've worked into that one, missing that one, putting a treble into the next one. And then another front post double treble around that same front post treble from round 6. Okay, now we're missing the next stitch. Worked into that one, missing this one, working into that one there. So we've missed the next stitch, we've put a treble into the next stitch, and then we're working 2 trebles, 2 chain, 1 treble into the next. Okay, so you can see that that stitch where we've put that that first stitch of our corner 3 DC. So this is the corner that we're working into now, so we're wanting this corner to be the same as that one. So 2 treble, 2 chain and 1 treble. Okay, so this is what your row should be looking like. Your corner stitches, your 2 treble, your 2 front post, double trebles with the treble in the middle, and your 2 missed stitches, your 7 treble across there, your front post double trebles around that front post treble from row 6 with the treble in the middle and the 2 missed stitches on either side, and then your 1 treble at the end with your corner stitches. Okay, so if you can repeat that again, because that's your repeat, if you repeat that again along here, do the same corner as you have done here, repeat along here and then to the end, and you should be finishing with a treble in that last stitch there, and then we'll count our stitches. So I'll see you when you get to that point. So now that we've come to the end of round 8, let's have a look at the stitches. So from each 2 chain corner space you should have 15 trebles and 4 front post double trebles. So let's have a count. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, that one in the middle, then you should have 7 along here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that one in the middle there, 13, 14, 15, your 3 on the end there. Okay, and then your 4 front post trebles. So that first treble along your edge should be into that corner space. Your next 2 trebles should be over the next 2 stitches. Not forgetting these missed stitches here. So your next stitch is missed. So you have, like, you can see this gap here, more of a gap. You're missing them stitches there. So you're missing 4 stitches along each edge. Yeah. Your 7 in the middle. Your 2 missed stitches and your 1 treble in the middle there. And your 2 front post double treble with your 3 on the end here. So when you get to this end, you have 1 treble that is along the edge stitches, and then your last 2 should be in that corner space, because each corner has 2 trebles, 2 chains, 1 treble, which is a bit unusual, so make sure that's right. Okay, and then so when you've got to the end, you should have ended on 1 treble. So you've missed 1. After your front post double treble, you've missed 1, gone into the next stitch, and that completes your round. Okay, so we're going to join with an invisible join. Pull the yarn up, insert your hook. That's your standing treble, that's your first treble, and we're inserting the hook into the top of that first treble. Grab the tail that you've just cut, yarn over and pull through to the front. That last treble that you did, insert the hook from back to front, just picking up that back loop, grab the yarn and pull to the back. So that is round 8 completed. I'll see you for round 9. So we're going to be working with our Storm Blue yarn, and we're joining with a standing half treble to any 2 chain corner space. Okay, so if you grab the yarn and wrap around about 3 times, insert your hook into the chain 2 space, grab the yarn and pull through, grab the yarn and pull through 3. So pull through 2, just help that one over. Now we need another half treble into that corner space. Chain 2 and 2 more half trebles into the corner space. There we go. So that's what each corner should look like. 2 half trebles, 2 chains, 2 half trebles. Now we're going to work a front post treble over the next 3 stitches. There we go. And now we're going to work 5 half trebles over the next 5 stitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's always a bit tricky when you're working a mixture of trebles and half trebles to make sure you don't accidentally start putting trebles where half trebles should be. So 5 half trebles into the next stitch. So we're going to miss the next stitch, which is this one. So we've worked into here. We're missing this one and we're working a front post treble around the next. So if you see, that should be the center stitch of your 7 stitches from the previous round. 7 stitches there. I should be working around that middle one. And now into the stitch that we've just worked, we're putting a half treble. So into the top of that stitch. So let's have a look into there. We're working a half treble. And then we're working a front post treble around that same post. There we go. So you end up with that little V shape there and your half treble in the middle. And now we're going to miss the next stitch, so bring it forward. That's the stitch that we've worked into, so we're missing that one and working into this one. And we are putting a treble into there. No, we're not. We're putting a half treble into there. So missing that one, half treble into here. And we're working 5 half trebles along the next 5 stitches. So how many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're working 3 front post trebles around them last 3. There we go. So that's the repeat that we're doing. So now we need to work this corner, same here, into here. So it's 2 half trebles. Two chain, 2 half trebles, okay, then 3 front post trebles over the next 3 stitches. Five half trebles over the next 5 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Missing the next stitch and working a front post treble around the next. Then we're working a half treble into that same stitch. And a half treble, no, a front post treble around that same stitch. There we go. So it looks like that. And we're missing that next stitch and working 5 half trebles over the next 5 stitches. There we go. So then we've got 3 stitches left on that edge, and we're working front post trebles around each of them. There we go. So that's another repeat done. So you've got one repeat done there, another one here, so you just need to do that again across here, finishing with your 3 front post trebles around your last 3 stitches there. Okay, so I'll see you when you get to that point. So now that we've come to the end of round 9, let's take a look at our stitches. We should have, in between each chain 2 space, we should have 2 half trebles which are going into the chain space from the previous round, so them going into there. 3 front post trebles around each of the next 3 stitches. 5 half trebles over the next 5 stitches. Then we're skipping a stitch, that one there, and we're working a front post treble, a half treble, and a front post treble around that next treble, around the next stitch. Then missing another stitch there, and working 5 half trebles over the next 5 stitches, 3 front post trebles over the next 3 stitches, and then that 2 half treble into that corner space from the previous round. Okay. So if you've got that, you should have 12 half trebles, 13, sorry, with that middle one there, so 13 half trebles and 8 front post trebles. Okay, so if you've got that in between each of your corner spaces, we can finish off this round. Okay, so we're not going to join with an invisible join this time, we're going to join with a slip stitch because we're continuing with Storm Blue for round 10. Okay, so we're going to join to your standing half treble, and we're not going to join to that first stitch here like we do for an invisible join. We've got to join to the top of that half, that standing half treble. So I'm going to insert my hook into here. It kind of goes into the side of it a little bit. We've just got to pick up two parts of the stitch. There we go. Can you see? I've kind of gone into the side of it a little bit. Yarn over, pull through and pull through to make that slip stitch. Then we're chaining 1 and working a DC into that first stitch, and then a DC into the next stitch. Okay, so we've got our 2 DC, and now we're going to work 3 DC into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, and now we're working 1 DC into each stitch all the way along to this corner. So it's that simple, a nice and easy row for us. So we're not missing any stitches this time. We're going into every stitch, and there should be 23 stitches that we're working into. So remember, we're working into that first one, so that bit there counts as the stitch. So that's the post, and the stitch that you're working into just sits to the right of it. Okay, so we're going into there. Okay, so your 12th stitch should land in that middle half treble. $23. Okay, so your last stitch goes into that half treble from the previous round. Okay, so you should have 23 half treble, 23 DCs there, and your 3 DC into that corner. So we need to do that again. 3 DC into your corner. And then we're working 23 DC across here, 3 DC in the corner, again 23 across, 3 DC, and then you're only working 21 across here because we already started with the 2 here. Okay, so if you work all the way around there, and I'll meet you here. So now we've finished our row of DCs from row 10. We know how many stitches we should have. We should have 3 in each corner and 23 along each edge. So if you've got 23 along each edge and your 3 in each corner, we should be right. So now we're joining with an invisible join. Pull the yarn up. Insert your hook into that first DC, not the chain one, into the first DC. Grab the yarn you've just cut, pull it through to the front. Insert your hook from back to front, just picking up the back loop of that last DC that you did. And pull the yarn to the back. That's your join. Okay. So we've only got a few more rounds to do now. As you can see, it's taking shape and getting bigger. So I will see you in a mo for round 11 with Mocha.